something is bad he actually says at the end of Shachrit, you should say it anyway. But if anything bad happens in Rosh Hashanah, you should stand up and say, Kol da'avid rachmana letav avid. Everything that God does is for the good. Everything God that does is for the good. We learned this out from Rabbi Akiva did that, right? Everything Hashem does is for the good. I want to share with you one quick story, and we'll finish with this. The story is about a great Makubal. And I hadn't heard of him before. His name was Yehuda Psaya. What was his name? Zecher Tzaddik Levracha. And the story is told that he had a habit of saying on Rosh Hashanah, Kol Avrachman L'Tava, everything God does is for the good. So he wouldn't be upset. So the story is told he was sitting in Rosh Hashanah with his family. And he had his white garments on. Ashkenazim, they wear the kittel, they wear the white garments. And the Hasidim were there. And the lights were, and the wine. He's ready for Suda Rosh Hashanah. He's about to begin, and everything's glowing and beautiful, and the smell. One of the guests that was there was a bit of a nebuch, hit the table, the candles fell down and extinguished. Pitch black. He stood up and said, Kol dachman rabit l'tavavid. Whatever God does is for the good. At that moment, his wife walks in with a big tray of fish covered in sauce. Since it's dark, she trips up, falls down, and the fish and sauce is all over the floor. And he stands up and said, Kol darachman l'tav avid. Sweet or sour? It must have been sweet. But what happened, my friend, wasn't sweet. He gets up to help his wife, but it's pitch black. He falls over her, and he lands in the fish with the sauce. And now he's swimming around on the floor, covered in sauce, and he's screaming out, Kol darachman l'tav avid. And all the other Hasidim who were there try to help him. They fall down. It's now the biggest balagan in history. The whole Suda is ruined. It's pitch black. There's fish sauce all over the floor, all of his beautiful white garments. The whole meal is ruined. His wife is crying. The Hasidim are crying. Everyone's upset. And he stands up and says, Kol da'avrachman l'tav avid. He writes, after writing this story, he had the best year of his life, the greatest chidushim he ever experienced, the greatest paranasah, but he said, my greatest work came out that year. He says, I'll tell you why. Because I could have got upset, I could have got depressed, but I stood up and said, whatever God does is for the good. And that saved me. That saved me. The Satan came to my home to ruin my day and ruin my year. I would not let him. And it's tough. You know, the Gemara in Brachot tells us, it's a side story, but I must mention it, about a man who had a fight with his wife. And he goes and spends the night in the cemetery, a very famous Gemara. And he hears the spirits of young girls who had died speaking based upon what he heard. He knew how to invest and make money. You know what I found out recently? That day was Rosh Hashanah. Why did he spend the night in the cemetery? I never understood. Go to one of your friends' houses. Stay home and keep your mouth shut. He didn't want to stay home because he said, if I stay home, I'll get into a fight with my wife and my year will be ruined. And if I go to a friend's house, why are you here? You have to kick out of the house. It's going to make my wife embarrassed. So he went to the cemetery. In the schut of that, he became extremely wealthy that year. That's the secret. Sauce, not fish sauce, but sauce that sits inside Rosh Hashanah. Trying very hard on just those 2 days to work on ourselves, not to allow ourselves to get angry, not even to make a sour face. It's tough. It's tough when you have guests and food and family and kids, and it's not easy. Kids are annoying, parents are annoying, Jews are annoying, I understand. But even HaKadosh Baruch Hu refused to speak Lashon Hara while there is a war. Can't we hold back for a couple of days, at least during the Su'udot, at least one Su'udah? Maybe say, you know what, second day, I'll talk. But the first day, I'm going to staple my mouth shut. In the schut of that, Bezrat Hashem, we will see a Geula Shelema as we go from Pad to Peh, from Pei Daled last year to Pei Hey, the future upcoming year. May we all be able to cry out to Hashem with a open mouth, full, male schok pinu, with a real mouthful of laughter, of success. May we see the return of our captives, Bezrat Hashem, very soon. This year, let's not wait till next year. In the next couple of days, and our soldiers come home to safety, Bezrat Hashem, B'mheri Amen. Chag Sameach.